Are you thinking about moving to Southwest Florida?
Then there's 9 things that you need to know before you make the big move.
Welcome to This Week in Venice, Florida. If it's your first time to the channel, Caleb and I are both local realtors here in the Venice, Florida and surrounding area. We help buyers connect the dot and find their dream home, and we help sellers move on to that next chapter.
All right, well, in today's video, we're gonna tell you the 9 things that you need to know before you move down to Southwest Florida. It's something that we wish we had learned all these things before we did, but now we have the knowledge, we've lived here for many years, and we wanna share that information with you so that you can be an informed buyer.
That's right, Caleb and I both moved our families respectively from Maryland several years ago, and there are many things we learned along the way as families moving and as professional realtors, and we're here to share with you the good, the bad, the ugly, things that your realtor or other realtors might not be telling you.
But we're going to do it because we tell you the truth. That's all about integrity of being a real estate agent, and sometimes we have to give you that not so great information, but it's also very important that we give you that information so that you fully understand what you're jumping into. It's a big move. There's a lot of different things that are down here that are different from where you're moving from, and in today's video the goal is to really just give you our kind of interpretation of all of those things and how they might not be a bad thing, they might actually be a good thing.
We don't take this process lightly. Moving your finances, moving your family, moving yourself to another state is no easy task, and we take it very serious. We're very careful in the way we protect you, and we protect you not only from the elements but from yourself. We want to make sure you have a sound entry and exit strategy. So without further ado, we're going to share with you, this is no particular order of priority, but just the 9 things that we think are extremely important to know before considering a move down here to Southwest Florida.
All right, let's jump into that list.
So we get calls and texts all the time from people who are starting their prelude, that journey to move here to Southwest Florida. For many, it's their first time ever laying eyes on the area. And for some, they've been vacationing here for years, they've fallen in love, and they're ready to make that move. But there are things you still need to know about. One of the biggest draws here, one of the things that you subscribe to when you move to Southwest Florida, and this is our number 9 reason of things that you need to know, is that you are going to be immersed in nature.
You are part of the food chain to a degree down here, but don't let that scare you. You know, there are alligators. You know, we say, everyone asks us, you know, are they dangerous? Are they dangerous? The fact of the matter is, yes, they are, but they don't want anything to do with us. Their goal is to just eat fish and sun themselves on the side of the pond banks and just enjoy life.
You know what else is dangerous? 5 o'clock rush hour in any metropolitan city.
Exactly.
I'll take an alligator in my purview any day.
Yeah, but the rule in general is if there's water, there's potentially an alligator in it. And that's really not that big of a deal. You can coexist with them. Little simple rules to follow. Don't walk your dog right down by the pond's edge. That might, you know, a small dog, maybe a big dog might not even be that much of a risk because your big dog's bigger than the gator, and the gator says, I don't want anything to do with that.
I would have a healthy respect. Well, the rule of thumb is any body of water, there's probably a gator. You don't want your small dog, you don't want your children wading over there and splashing in the water. Have a healthy respect, create a boundary, create a virtual boundary so you understand that you have to respect that we're living in nature's backyard and that they were here first, so we're gonna give them that preceding order. But once you're here for a while, these gators, they become an absolute sight to see. Very affectionate. I have a gator that I frequent at a basketball court that follows me up and down the court as I'm dribbling. Yes, he's probably hunting me, but I'm enjoying being part of the wildlife, part of the ecosystem. Now, aside from gators, you're immersed. You have bobcats, you have armadillos, you have all kinds of migratory birds. But when you look at the whole spectacle as a whole, it's an absolute amazing experience to be immersed and surrounded by so much nature, so much wildlife.
One of the big questions we get is like mosquitoes. How are mosquitoes down there? The nice thing is that all the HOAs and Sarasota County as a general, they spray for those. So I really don't have any issues with mosquitoes. There's occasionally you'll come across it on a construction site where there's some standing water from last night's rain that, you know, yeah, that's exactly what those mosquitoes love, and they breed in there and they get going. But to be honest, I think I've probably had, what, maybe 5 mosquito bites?
Well,
in the
Caleb is special and he's made of sugar and all sweetness, so maybe the mosquitoes are leaving him alone. But I myself, I suffer from those mosquitoes wanting to hang out with me. Not only mosquitoes, but those no-see-ums. We call them no-see-ums because you can't really see them They're little microscopic bugs. We even build our lanais with meshes that are no-seam graded so they can't get through that mesh. Now that's just a part of living here. Now there are certain times of the day, there's certain weather patterns that you'll see that there's more mosquitoes before and after the rain. That's just part of living in nature. A couple great solutions, a little bit of bug off, couple home remedies if you're thinking about holistic. We have a local lady here, she bottles up her own no-seum spray. So defending yourself against nature is really, it's a non-issue, you know, in my opinion.
I'll tell you, I'll take this nature that we're in right now. You know, just a beautiful environment, trees around us. This is the kind of nature you're actually going to explore, unless you go to one of the many parks around the area. But there are parks all over the place. So if you want to go out and be immersed in nature, you can actually do that. And there's Myakka State Park, there's Oscar Shearer State Park. There's all sorts of things that you can do in nature to actually take advantage of it. Sometimes of the year, it might get a little too hot, but you want to save those for the winter times of the year. But that kind of leads us to our next point.
Nature here does not thrive without the next reason why most people move down here is the weather.
And that's our number 8 reason is the weather.
Now it's 300 plus days of sunshine. We're close to the beach. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the never ending summer, but people want to know, does it get hot? Does it get humid? Well,
Yeah.
If you look at my shirt, if you zoom in, you'll see that it's not only hot, it's humid. I probably need a change. That's the reality. Usually by the time we're done this time of year shooting one of our scenes, I have to change my clothes, but it's so well worth it.
Absolutely. You know, you kind of base you get on a sliding scale of how many showers you end up needing to take depending on the time of year. In the winter months, it's just that one a day. In the summer months, depending on how active you want to be, depending on if you're spending time at the pool, you need to get that chlorine or salt water washed off, you might take 2. You might even get that 3rd one before you go to bed, just so you can go to sleep, not sticky, not sweaty, and just feeling good.
The truth is after a while you acclimate, your blood does thin. I'm going through a slight deacclimation because I stayed indoors for the last several weeks, blasting my AC, so now I'm getting reacclimated. But this place is an absolute dream. Yes, the weather can be extreme. Yes, it can get extremely hot, but I'd rather be acclimated and gradually build to that heat than to be like where I came from, the Mid-Atlantic, where you have all 4 seasons in one day. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, think about it up north. When you're up there, you're pretty much stuck in your house for 3, 4, maybe even 5 months a year that you can't do anything. But down here, that's the best time of year because it's in the 60s, 70s, low 80s, nice and bright and sunny, hardly any rain because that's the dry season. So yes, it is hot, but then there's the times of the year that are not hot that are absolutely perfect down here.
Now there's something we experience yearly, and it's the elephant in the room, and people want to know, do we have hurricanes?
Of course we have hurricanes. It is what it is, but the homes down here are built for it. They're all concrete block. There's all sorts of codes that have your ceiling, your roof is tied down to your foundation, to your walls. They're solid walls, so you're literally living in a fortress. And many homes, nowadays, it's code. You either have to have hurricane windows and doors or shutters on every home. So what happens? Hurricane comes, you either throw up those shutters and then boogie out of town, or stay through the whole thing. That's what I did.
Caleb's a strong soldier here. He's definitely a tough one. He stayed, he made his popcorn before the power went out, and he sat there and he watched the show. I'm a coward, I'm a chicken. As soon as I heard hurricane, I was packed up and ready to go. But the beautiful thing about it, I had the peace of mind that my home is a fortress. It's not going anywhere. I did sustain some damage during Hurricane Ian, but it was more cosmetic and things that could have been prevented. Had nothing to do with the vulnerability of the home or the storm that hit. The reality is being in a tropical environment, you're gonna get some tumultuous weather, you're gonna get some tropical rainstorms, you're gonna get flashes of lightning storms, but that's how nature thrives here. We're part of this ecosystem, and I personally wouldn't trade 300 days of sunshine and for anything, not ice storms, not snow, not a snowy Christmas. Here, the weather is absolutely complimentary. If you're trying to get moving every day, stay active, this is a perfect place for you to live. That weather, don't let the heat, those dog days of summer deter you. ACs in these homes are absolutely amazing. These homes are insulated. You will not feel the heat if you don't want to, but you're gonna find yourself gravitating towards that heat. And this time of year, getting up a little earlier, hitting that beach at 7:30 in the morning since the sun's already up, and finishing your day, kind of taking a siesta or a nap during the mid-afternoon.
Yeah, you end up just adjusting your day. When in the mornings when it's still nice and cool, that's when you go for that morning walk. That's when you go to the beach, like Lanir said. And then when it gets nice and hot, 11, 12 o'clock, That's when you go get your shopping done. When you're gonna be inside at the grocery store or in Walmart or wherever you may be shopping, you're inside enjoying that AC and taking advantage of it. It's still sunny, beautiful, bright. It's still an awesome place to live. But you just gotta, and then, you know, as the day gets towards the end and it starts to cool off again, that's when you go to your pool, you go out on your lanai, you relax out there, you have a nice cocktail or mocktail. You just adjust your day is really all it comes down to.
And the unique thing about weather here you get accustomed to not only just checking the temperature, not checking just the humidity, but you start to check the marine report. You want to know, is the water calm? Is it a good day to take my boat out? Are there any rip tides? Those are things that you have to take into account. So when you're moving down here, it's going to be an ever-changing system. But one thing you can count on, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be warm.
All right, so let's move on to not as exciting of a number.
It's actually the ugly thing that we all have to deal with.
Yeah.
No one wants to, but we all have to.
And the number 7 thing you need to know is, let's talk about taxes.
Taxes.
You started off.
Taxes.
Taxes.
What you know about taxes? Well, let me tell you something about taxes. We all have to pay them. It's inescapable. And taxes aren't a one-size-fits-all. When people move down here, they're always comparing the taxes to their rural neighborhood to here. Here, taxes are sitting in Sarasota County about 1.2%. And then you have on top of your taxes, you have some things called community development districts. That's a taxation for the infrastructure that gets built in. And you might be thinking to yourself that these taxes, they're exorbitant, but there's a great savings when you're mentioning taxes here in Southwest Florida. And that savings is you don't pay state income tax.
That's like 8% of your income. If you're still working, this is the perfect opportunity. If you're gonna have a family, move down here. If you're working remotely, this is the perfect place to do it because now you're not paying state income tax like you might have been when you're, in the state that you're from. So it's a huge advantage. You save on income tax, but you end up paying a little bit more in property tax. So it just is what it is.
And if you're a prudent investor, a lot of our clients are buying their second home. Eventually it turns into a primary home, and they're smart. They put these homes in a trust because they know they have family waiting in backdrop, that one day God's waiting room is going to call them, and they understand that they need to protect their family. So the beautiful thing about living in Florida here is there's no estate tax. That's a huge savings, and it makes it much easier for the family to transition to that life without you. Harsh reality, but it's one of those things that when you move to Florida, they're thinking not just about today, but we're thinking long-term about your long-term viability.
Absolutely. All right, and the number 6 thing that we want to talk about and we think that you should definitely know about is HOAs and CDDs, and on the contrary, non-HOAs, something that you need to think about.
That's right. Whether you go with HOA or non-HOA, there are things to consider and expenses that you need to know about. When you're living in a non-HOA, a deed-free community like myself, I wanted the freedom to be able to build what I want. That comes with some caveats and expenses. You're definitely responsible for your own lawn service, all of your maintenance. Not only that, you have to make sure that you're friendly and neighborly to make sure that your neighbors are upholding and upkeeping the value and the integrity of the neighborhood, which is a true balancing act. So you really have to be selective in where you move when you're living in a non-HOA. Now there's expenses to consider with HOA as well.
Yeah, when you're moving into an HOA, there are some perks to it. There's things like you don't have to mow your yard. Or I shouldn't say all HOAs, but most HOAs, it's pretty common that you don't have to mow your yard, you don't have to weed, you don't have to do any of the mulching. They do all of that for you, and it's included in your HOA fee. Other things, some neighborhoods they'll include your internet, or maybe your internet and your cable. So depending on the neighborhood, there's a lot of inclusions that you'll get that you may not see a value to. But if you're not paying that $75 or $150 cable and internet fee, then you're saving money. So that, kind of reduces that monthly HOA considerably.
And HOAs, they can range from as little as $29 for very minimal and very little limited services, upwards of thousands of dollars, whether you're in a golf community that has all the bells and whistles. HOA really is dictated by the amount of services you're getting from that neighborhood.
Yeah, but they have great things like amenities. Here we are, we're in Everly right now, standing right behind the camera is their incredible amenity center. So you do get the opportunity to, some of them, like let's use Island Walk for example. HOAs over there are in like the 3s, high 2s to 3s, but you're getting 2 resort pools. You're getting a lap lane pool, pickleball everywhere, basketball, community garden. You're getting all these great things that are added into that HOA fee. So it really just depends on the neighborhood, the cost of that HOA, and does it make sense for you?
It's something you certainly have to calculate. When all said and done, you have to add all those numbers together because that's all coming out of one account. And on top of HOA, something you have to consider, especially with newer neighborhoods, is a CDD, a community development district. That's a taxation that supports that new infrastructure.
Yep, so and that's paid in your annual taxes. So don't think that that's part of your HOA. That's essentially, that pays for all of the infrastructure upgrades from previously, prior to building this neighborhood, and then down the line, it just continues to take care of to make sure that the infrastructure of this neighborhood is always in scale with the amount of residents that live here. You don't want it to grow up too big, but yet they didn't put away the money so that they could expand the roads and make it perfect for you.
That's right. That's where Caleb and I come into play here. Because we are the local experts, we have our pulse of the market. We understand that not all HOAs are built equally. Some are fully stocked, have really strong reserves, understand how to budget their books, and they're ready for everything and anything to make sure that they sustain and maintain that integrity of the neighborhood. But then there's other neighborhoods that didn't do as good a job balancing their books.
Or they're brand new and just haven't had time to build those reserves.
And so those are things we're gonna walk you through to help you consider, so when you're calculating all of this, you're not walking into any pitfalls. And speaking of pitfalls, something, if you read the news, if you've been out in the world, if you've been out of any stone, you probably have read about the insurance business down here, or the insurance racket, we should say.
Insurance is going up in Florida. It's just because of Hurricane Ian and the weather kind of getting a little bit worse, as we all kind of realize over time, that these storms are getting more intense. So what what insurance companies are doing is they're hedging their bets. They're planning on that there's going to be some big claim down the line, so they're raising rates on a lot of people. But that being said, we have a lot of great insurance agents that we trust, we've vetted, our customers have used them, and I think it's more of a media event, the fact that everyone's, insurance is going up, it's going up, it's going up. If you're in an older house that needs a lot of work with an older roof, your insurance is gonna be higher than it is if you move into one of these beautiful new homes with all the coating to make it super safe, whether it's hurricanes, whatever. You're not gonna have issues with that. And that's why Lanir and I, for the most part, we kind of specialize in new construction because our customers aren't gonna have to deal with the headaches of high insurance because, the way that their house was built or the age of their roof.
And insurance is not a one size fits all. It's really a la carte. I remember when I got my first bumper to bumper insurance for my car, and I found out it only covered the front and the back bumper and nothing in between. That's kind of how insurance is here. Here you're gonna have your standard homeowner's insurance. You're gonna pick your deductible. That's really dependent on the individual, how much cash you want to put up front and how much cash you want to put aside for later down the road. But that deductible is definitely going to be a determining factor in what you're paying up front, what you're getting fixed. And on top of that, you have to add the extra layers because we're so close to the coast in Southwest Florida. You're going to have to add that hurricane insurance. Now, it's a minimal addition to your insurance, and it's well worth it. Gives you that peace of mind that no matter what happens to your home, it's going to be taken care of. But the truth is, these homes, especially these new constructions, quite frankly, I don't know why they make us insure it because these homes are not going anywhere. But that comes down to also, if you're a cash buyer, there's an opportunity to insure yourself. But we have great references. We've sent people that we've referred to, and our clients have been very happy. And it's something we encourage you to start shopping around now. Don't just take that first quote and run with it.
And if you want to, now's the time. Give us a call and we can send you all of our insurance agents that we have, like I said, vetted and we trust, and they're not salesmen. They're truly, they are in it for what's just like we are. We're in it for you. It's not about us. It's about finding you that beautiful home, the perfect home. And for our insurance agents that we refer to, it's about getting you the best insurance agent for your needs so that coverage is perfect within your budget, you feel good about it, and you're paying a fair price for it. So we have people that we can share that will get you a great rate.
And when we're looking at homes, whether it's a new construction or if it's a resale, we're gonna be helping you check the lifespan of that roof, the lifespan of that air condition, the structure of that home. We're gonna help you find an inspector. We're gonna make sure that you're not walking into any surprises here. And the insurance we're gonna make sure that insurance is giving you all the peace of mind that you need. All right, folks, so we're about halfway there through our list. We've covered the nature, the beautiful weather, those taxes, HOA and CDD fees, that ugly elephant in the room, that insurance monster that we all have to confront. But now maybe you're a family and you're considering moving down here. When the family, you have to consider a little bit more. You have to consider those school districts.
And our number 4 thing is schools. What do you need to know about schools? One of the big things, you know, a lot of people get surprised by, the schools start down here in mid-August. This year, what is it, August 12th, 13th?
August 14th.
14th, so it's early this year. So most of you are used to not going back to school after Labor Day, but that's not the case here. So you really need to start planning. When do I need to be down there so that I can get my kids registered for school, get everything going and you know, just working, and you're not in a stressful situation because you're coming down here at the last second. We have great schools down here. Sarasota County is the #1 school system in all of Florida.
That's right, and you have options here when you move to Sarasota County. Depending on your child's interest, you can choose which school you may go to. If you're into sports, you're gonna be going to Venice High School. That's a place where it's a powerhouse. Many D1 athletes, professional athletes are being born. Great academics, an amazing community, beautiful school, beautiful compound that you're sure to love, your kids are gonna love. And then you have a myriad of options from private to preparatory to even the brand new school that's being built here in Welland Park, slated to be completed year 2025, 2026. But there's a myriad of options, but it's something you have to consider. The school year is a little bit different timeline. We also take into consideration hurricane days. Those are embedded into our vacation days. So if we have any hurricane days, it's the equivalent of snow days, except you're not out there with the kids playing in the hurricane. I wouldn't recommend that. There are some daredevils out here, but schools are extremely important. That timeline, the consideration of what school is close to what. If you're someone who's thinking about moving a family, you need a lot of insight, just reach out to us. We'll send you all those links. We'll get you all that insight and information, and we'll tell you about our personal experiences for our children. Caleb's boys, they went to Venice High School. My son goes to Lemon Bay, respectively. 2 different opposite ends of the spectrum, both amazing opportunities for your children.
And like Lanir mentioned, if you need to know more, if you're targeting where you're gonna live, if you're gonna live in the Venice area, we have or Sarasota County, let's go with Sarasota County. If you're gonna move here, we can send you all the information with all the links to get your children set up for school, all the peripheral websites that they need to be aware of. We're gonna give you everything that you need. So that's what's so important about calling us.
Yeah, from elementary to middle school to high school to even college, we have it all here within a stone's throw. All exceptional schools with an amazing education and a great opportunity for your kids to come down, live in paradise while learning.
All right, so let's move on to our number 3 reason why to move down here. And this one's actually kind of fun.
This one's epic. You want to say it?
Yeah. Don't bring your down here.
Don't bring it.
Don't bring it. So many of our customers come down here and they're like, why did I bring all this stuff? I spent $5,000 to $20,000 hiring movers, bringing all their antiques down here, which by the way, have 0 value down here.
If it's mahogany or rhymes with antique, you should leave it at home. You should donate it.
Or sell it up. Sell it up there for those pieces that you're not connected with. Or if they are family heirlooms that you need to pass on, do it while you're up there. Pass that on to the son, the grandson, the granddaughter, and let them enjoy it while they're still around, but while you're still around.
Now, we're speaking from experience. I know I am. I've been whittling down for years. When we moved here, we whittled it down what we thought was an exceptional amount, only to bring a 29-foot truck packed to the brim, only to be donating all of that heavy furniture, all of that bulky mahogany and dark woods that were beautiful in my farm-style house in the Mid-Atlantic, but have no place here in this tropical environment. And you're talking about, this is the fuel that keeps the storage business in business.
Yeah, you'll see it all over the place down here. There's storage buildings going up every corner.
You know what those things are? Those things are reminders of the mistakes that people made. They brought their shit down here.
And you're gonna put what? You're gonna spend $300-400 a month to store a bunch of crap you're never gonna use. Honestly, folks, you may not be able to. I can swear to you, just about every single customer that's come down here has got those few pieces that they actually need, and then all this other stuff that they think they should bring with them.
Take a picture of that, grandfather clock, put it in a nice frame, and then donate it to a museum.
Or pass it on to your grandchild. Let them, I love that clock. I did the exact same thing. I almost brought it down here, but I finally, in the end, decided it's not worth spending the money to ship it down here or drive up so I can only bring it down so I can have a clock in my house. I have my memories. My memories are of that furniture when it was in my grandmother's house, and I have that right here. I don't need the daily reminder and expense and a piece that just doesn't fit in my home for years to
Our
come.
job is to save you money, to protect you from yourself. And I'm telling you, there's a great deal of savings just offloading all that extra baggage. So you've listened to us, you ignited the fire, that furniture bonfire, that celebratory bonfire before you head down here and incur thousands of dollars of moving expense, only to pay thousands of dollars for storage units, only to pay some guy $500 to tow it all the way. So we're saving you a lot. But this takes us to our number 2 reason.
Yeah, the number 2 reason is get your ducks in a row.
Quack, quack.
And by that we mean, don't get ahead of yourself. I know most people have waited years to move down here. You've worked your whole life and you're ready to move down here. And some people get a little bit ahead of themselves and they haven't sold that home up north. They haven't really, they haven't moved the money, made it liquid so that they can buy a home and put down those deposits. So when we say get ducks in a row is, here's kind of the ideal plan to make your life as stress-free as possible once you move down here. Ideally, you want to sell that home up north. Have that money in the bank sitting there. Then we recommend rent something down here for a while. Come in the off season when it's not the snowbird season, when it's really, really expensive to rent. Come in the off season, stay a month or 2.
But what we want you to do is to calculate the expenses on the front end and the back end. Sometimes people are in a hurry and in the move because time has just dictated so. We understand there's extenuating circumstances. We'll work with you closely to make sure that we make up that difference so it's not too chaotic and too much pressure where you feel like you're backed against a corner. But a lot of our clients here, they're buying their second home or their retirement home or their vacation home, or it's families wanting to live that beautiful tropical life in paradise, and they get so excited about it that they forget the simple things like getting a pre-qualification letter, making sure that they've spoken to their money manager or their banker or their spouses to make sure that they understand what finances they're going to get into. Too many times we see people race down here to find that home they love, to not be able to put in a great offer because they didn't have all their ducks in a row, and then they leave heartbroken because they feel like someone else is living in their dream home. We don't want that to happen to you.
Absolutely, which leads us to our number 1 reason why.
Oh man, you better listen to this
I'll tell you what, let's just jump right into it. Call us first. We are your local experts and we truly want to help you find that dream home. We are not salesmen. That's not Lanir and my style. If you watch our videos, you clearly understand that we're all about giving you our expertise, letting you learn all about these great neighborhoods without spending $1 getting down here or doing it yourself.
That's right. We put out these videos so you can be informed, so you get a chance to know us. We're your boots on the ground. We're a pulse on the market. We've dug our heels deep into this ground, and we're here to make sure that that buyer's journey is seamless and flawless, and that you understand that you're getting the best service, and we're worried about your entry and exit strategy. We're not going to take this lightly, and there are certain things that you need to understand that when we represent you, we're representing we have a fiduciary responsibility to represent you and protect your investment. Now, the second you pick up that phone because you're excited about a new development and you call that builder, now you're putting yourself in a precarious situation.
Yeah, a lot of times people don't realize this, but when you call or you register on a builder's website, essentially what they're doing is stealing the ability for you to be represented. You want to be represented. Just think about it. You're spending $500,000, $1 million, $2 million on a home. Don't you want a local expert that knows the ins and outs, knows how the negotiations go with all of these individual builders? We're selling homes all the time, so we understand what we can get away with, what we can ask for, the proper way to negotiate with some of these buyers, because we know how they're going to react to our offers. So when you call a builder, their goal is to essentially get realtors out of the way. And now you're negotiating against a multi-billion-dollar company with a team of attorneys and a contract a mile long, and you have nobody to explain it to you. That's our job, is to make sure that you're not getting screwed.
Now, don't get us wrong. We love these builders. We understand their job is to make their margins, make their profits, hit their goals respectively. And we're not mad at them for that. So a lot of these builders, they do a great job. They have a lot of great information, but there are some caveats. When you're going to the person who's the seller directly, you are losing that ability to be represented. And some of these builders in their systems, once you reach out to that system, to that online sales rep, they will assign you in your system, and it will prevent us from being able to step in and negotiate on your behalf and be there for you every step of the way. So it's extremely important that you know we don't work for the builders. We're independent realtors, and we're here to represent you and your best interests.
And my goal, literally, is to save you as much money as possible. I love that part of my job, is negotiating up against the builder, because if they may be telling you a price and I can save you $30,000, you go into that negotiation by yourself, they may just stonewall you and say, no, that's how much the price is. Do you want it or not? We know that that's not the case, and I know exactly. All the builders are a little bit different. Some of them are great to work with. They don't do that kind of like predatory type things, but there are some that actually do. So you don't want to get caught up with one of these things, because then you're not going to be able to use us to help you, to be your advisors, to walk you through that process, to show you different properties. You go into a builder's neighborhood, they want to sell you that neighborhood, and they're going to put all the pressure they can for you to buy that home in that neighborhood. We don't care where you buy. We want to show you everything, because we want to find a home that's perfect for you, not just where the best deal is or where they're putting the most pressure on you. That's not how you sell homes. That's not how you grow a business. And that's just not how you're not being a good person if that's how you do it.
You know, Caleb and I, we care about our customer. We care about your family. We care about your financial well-being. We're going to make sure that everything we do is for your benefit. We're never going to put you out on a limb. We're never going to make you feel like you're beyond your limits. We are here to educate you, inform you, be your boots on the ground, make sure your home is on time, make sure we're holding people accountable. But we are here for you. We are an extension of you. Many of our clients become our lifelong friends. We get calls all the time with new friends and new opportunities every day, with people who are wondering, what is the next step? Well, we are that first step. We are that next step. All you have to do, if something interests, if you're in that process of considering making that move for retiring or moving your family down here, all you have to do is what?
Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, or set up a Zoom call with us. Because folks, truly, we want to get to know you. I don't care if you want to buy in 2 years from now and you've got questions for me. Call me up and ask me. Our numbers are right on the screen right here. Probably Lanir's is there, mine's right about here. But that's what we're here for. Literally, if you're next week you're moving down here, give me a call. If you're moving down here in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and you just want to talk about what do you think it's going to look like, the market's going to look like, what the development, how far is the build out going to be, call us. That's what we're here for. You are not bothering us. We have so many customers that say, I just don't want to bother you. I know that you're busy. We want to be bothered. We can't help you if you're not calling us, because we want to be here. We want to earn your business, and we want to make sure that your entry plan into Florida and retirement, or if you're just moving your family down here, you're achieving all of those goals and objectives that you had right out of the gate. It's our job to execute your plan.
That's right. It doesn't matter if you're buying a $20,000 lot or a $20 million home. We believe that that value is relative, and we want to pass that value on to you. And we're going to make sure that we get every drop out of that builder possible to make sure that you're comfortable with your investment. Now, there's many other things to cover. Caleb and I, we come out with weekly videos talking about the Venice and surrounding area. We're here to educate you, the buyer, educate you, the seller, and to make sure that you have the proper representation. We're super excited. We can't wait to meet you. We can't wait to hear from you. And we say it all the time. All you got to do now is grab your suntan lotion, grab your towel, get that checkbook, give Caleb and myself a holler, and we'll be here for you.
Hey, for This Week in Venice, Florida, I'm Caleb.
And I'm Lanir.
And we'll see you next week.